So everybody should have their lacrosse ball now. We're going to go through some exercises with it today. We're going to start with your feet today. This is great, especially for someone maybe who's on their feet a lot, or someone who's running, or just, if you feel the soles of your feet at all. This is a great little exercise or mobility drill that you can add in. This can be done, a couple of times a week. With the lacrosse ball, these are great. Sometimes people use a tennis ball, etc., or a golf ball, but I just find the shape of these, the size of them, and how hard they are, they're well worth the money. So if you don't have one and you're using something else, check the link that's in your training, and definitely worth buying one. So we're going to start off placing it on the ground and just stepping on the ball. So we do want a little bit of pressure on this. Obviously, you can determine that the more pressure you put on it, you're going to feel it more in your foot. So really slowly moving it around through the sole of your foot. So you see I'm not flying around through it. I'm just moving nice and slowly. I'm going to go from the front of my foot right down towards my heel. If you find a tender area, pause on it and really just let your foot relax as much as you can. So the amount of pressure that I want here, I don't want too much that I'm like, oh shit, it's too sore and I can't relax into it. But I don't want too little that I don't feel it. So you just feel a little bit of pain as you're rolling through it, just a little bit. So really slowly getting, you can probably see that now on the outside of my foot, just going through the whole foot, just nice and slowly. Now I'm going to just crisscross, and it's nice to go from left to right, forward and back. Definitely a little tender spot in there for me. Sometimes if you get a tender spot and pause on it, you just have a little bit of movement in there and let that ball just sink right up into the sole of your foot. So you could spend a good bit of time on each foot. We're not going to spend too long, but you could put like a timer on for 2-3 minutes plus, and just slowly work your way down through your foot. Okay, let's change sides. Take note how that foot feels as you place it back on the ground. Sometimes you can just feel a lot more relaxed. So I'm going to progress on to my left foot next and just slowly working through this. Same as my right foot, I'm going to go from front to back, then move slightly across and go from back to front. Just take your time with this. Any tender areas, take note if it's the same area on both feet, or is one foot a little worse than the other. So slowly moving down through all this. From here then I'm going to go slightly left to right. Oh, I definitely can feel it more towards the front of my left foot. Again, you can spend as long as you want on this, but just take your time going through it. As I say, there's no point in racing through it. Okay, once we have that done, we're going to come into a seated position next. As we come into a seated position, if you can, bring one foot up. I'm going to start with my right foot with the ball. All we're going to do is place it on the side of your ankle and just put a little bit of pressure on it, and then slight little rotation. Okay, so what we're working here, there are some little muscles, tendons, ligaments along here, but also the fascia. You might have heard of fascia before, so the myofascia. That will come down through your ankle. So as we rotate the ball, it's just going to help relieve that. So I'm putting a little bit of tension on and just rounding that out. So you have this bony landmark here on your ankle, and I'm going to work just around that a little bit. So you might find one area is a little tender. If I can definitely feel it in around here. So I'm just going to get in, put a little bit of pressure on there and try and relieve whatever is going on through my ankle joint. Okay, slightly coming up, And we're going to change onto the opposite foot. So from here, just on the inside of the foot, getting a little bit of rotation. So you'll even see the skin. Sometimes, you know, like it's skin, it's everything that we're trying to release here. We want to make sure your skin is nice and pliable. You know, also hydration is going to help with that. This one, I don't feel that same little tension in there as I did on my opposite one. Okay, from here then, what we can do, we can just come slightly onto the outside of the foot as well. And we can really work this around the whole outside of the foot, the front of the foot. Again, just a little bit of pressure and then rotation. A little bit of pressure and then rotation on this. And changing. So I'm going to come on to my left foot, just onto the front of it. Oh, a little click. And then just rotating the ball. This may feel very strange, which is okay. So we get it nicely in around all here. In around the back of this bony landmark here as well. Okay, so now what we're going to do, bringing my left foot up, we can put the ball out to the side. I'm going to place my fingers in between my toes and really try and spread my toes out as wide as I can. Okay, so as I'm in this position, what we can do is just get a little rotation. Think about pressing down on that big toe. Ooh, a little click, which is nice. Okay, and I'm really trying to spread my toes out. So ideally, with your toes, you know, this little toe should be coming straight out, big toe coming straight out. If they're in on top of each other, it's definitely going to cause issues down the line. So, you know, sometimes I will even wear toe spreaders because I'm wearing, you know, shoes, runners, etc. a lot, as we all are. My little toe tends to come in. So sometimes toe spreaders can be great to get. And I'll put a link to toe spreaders if anybody is interested in getting them, the ones that I would recommend. So, changing sides. From here, we're just going to place fingers in between toes. Definitely got some, you can see I'm doing some running. Toes are kind of in bits at the moment. So from here, fingers in between. Just going to get a little rotation again. See how that all feels. And what I like to do once I have done this, it's always nice just to stand back up. Oh, a little click. Good. Okay. So take note how your feet feel now once you stand back up. What I would suggest is even getting the ball on the ground and just that first exercise that we do on our mobility drill that we do, rolling the ball through the foot, is great to get in. This can be done like if you're prepping something at a counter, if you're on your laptop and you're standing up, have a ball underneath one of your feet and, you know, slow and controlled running that ball underneath the foot. If you have a little bit more time, don't be afraid to then progress into sitting on the ground where we get the ball in through the side of the foot. But definitely this exercise is great for people that have sore feet. And as I say, we will be progressing on working the calf, which is also going to help relieve the foot. If you have any questions and you're not sure about something on this, please just let me know.